10 years, give or take, how exactly will this fruition begin? How will we reduce this amount?
Because agriculture also talks about irrigation contributes to agriculture. It's an interministerial kind of synergy.
Right.
Specifically under the ministry, we are mandated to produce rice. Rice is purely under the docket, the ministry. And as we speak, we produce around 250,000 metric tons of rice, and we have a deficit of around 700,000 metric tons.
Right. That's a big number.
It's a big number. It's a challenge. And that's why in our production, one of the pathways that we have, because the rice producers are mostly the national irrigation schemes. Here I'm talking about Moya. I'm talking about now the Bura that has come up. I'm talking about projects in Lwakuja. I'm talking about projects in Binyala. That is what now we are calling Nzoia, Lower Nzoia. One of the pathways, the fifth pathway that I didn't actually mention, was maximizing the output from our national irrigation schemes. How do you do this? First of all, you can't maximize what you don't understand. You do assessment.
Right.
Then you build capacity of the staff. And finally, you develop adequate water sources. For example, you go to an irrigation scheme like Pakera. The acreage is around 5,500 acres. The actual land under production is around 2,800 acres. You know what the challenge is? The land is available, the farmers are very willing to work, but we don't have adequate water.
Right.
The river Pakera fluctuates during the dry period and during the rain season. So when we actually need to do production, there is no water. And that's why I will talk of another dam that I think we are working towards achieving that as a ministry, but it's a very ambitious project. The High Grand Falls Dam, the one that is at the border of Thakaniti, Embu, and Kitui. That dam, we are floating it. We are looking for proponents and public-private partnerships. Would store 5 billion liters of water. 5 billion liters of water. That would be the biggest dam.
What's holding us back?
Finances. Because our feasibility studies say, our feasibility assessments say, we will require around 300 billion Kenya shillings to do. So how is that tenable from the exchequer? That dam will balance the water flows in River Tana. You see, River Tana is used to produce in Bura, right? It is used to produce in Hola, Kulechini, Spat. And this River Tana flows full and sometimes actually floods in the lower regions when it is raining like right now. And all that water that comes from Nairobi and the Tana catchment ends up in the Indian Ocean during the dry period, and that water is wasted. When it is actually dry, like we were there when we were launching Bura irrigation, the gravity canal in Bura, you realize the river has dwindled so much. So the acreage potential under production cannot be sustained by the flow of that water unless you divert all of it into farming. And remember, you must have the environmental flow downstream. You cannot divert the entire river to farming because the people downstream are also dependent on that river. So that dam becomes like a balancing tank, a balancing reservoir.